Welcome to the Political News Report, politicalnewsreport.com. An article for you from Mint Press News by Alan McLeod, talking about how Bill Gates has given $319 million to media outlets. This is based on research that they did, sifting through over 30,000 grants in the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation's database. The article talks about how the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation seems to have extensive tentacles stretching through the media landscape, both within the United States and outside of the United States. But some big names you may recognize that are recipients of this cash include names like CNN, NBC, NPR, PBS, and The Atlantic. Outside of the U.S., the BBC, The Guardian, The Financial Times, The Daily Telegraph, Le Monde, Der Spiegel, El País, and Al Jazeera. The article provides a breakdown by category of the media organizations that the Gates Foundation has been giving money to, with links to the actual grant from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation website. I'll post a link to the Mint Press News article if you want to check that out yourself. But the highlights are NPR, over $24 million. The Guardian, almost $13 million. Public Radio International, almost $8 million. Univision, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and I apologize, almost $6 million. Der Spiegel in Germany, almost $5.5 million. And the list goes on. NBC Universal, over $4 million. Le Monde in France, over $4 million. The BBC, over $3.5 million. CNN, also over $3.5 million. And the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, almost $2.5 million. And the list goes on. This article also points out that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation also puts up money to directly train journalists all over the world in the form of scholarships, courses, and workshops. Specifically, and this is a quote from the article itself, "Today it is possible for an individual to train as a reporter thanks to a Gates Foundation grant, find work at a Gates-funded outlet, and to belong to a press association funded by Gates. This is especially true of journalists working in the fields of health, education, and global development, the ones Gates himself is most active in and where scrutiny of the billionaire's actions and motives are most necessary." Unfortunately, this article tends to slide into this rich man bad, capitalism bad type of mentality. The important point that they are making is that Bill Gates, through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, has a lot of influence over the media, who is in a position that's supposed to be informing the public on things that he would be involved in. Most notably, and this article does not really talk about it, is how the corporate press has held up Bill Gates as this man with all of the answers during the cooties, so-called cooties epidemic, without really scrutinizing him. And here we see, thanks to the research of Mint Press News, that he's been giving a lot of money and has a lot of influence in the same media that's supposed to be, that has been holding him up as the man that we should be listening to, despite the fact that he's not even a doctor. And then on top of that, and this one I think is very important to drive home because I don't think people talk about it, but Microsoft owns stakes in media giants such as Comcast and AT&T, and of course the MS in MSNBC stands for Microsoft. So I agree with part of what this article has to say, and that is that Bill Gates obviously has a lot of influence over the corporate press that really isn't discussed or disclosed. And I think it's important to keep this in mind, especially during this time when we have all this hype about the cooties scare, and how he obviously, if you look into this, and you may have noticed that he has a financial interest in the cooties scare and the so-called cure for the cooties scare. And yet none of these outlets have really spoken about how influential he is over the media landscape in not only the United States, but around the world, as this article shows. That's my take on it. I'd like to know what you think, so feel free to leave a comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.